And we are the Non-Prophets. I'm Denis Loubet, along with Keith Stein and Jamie Boone. This is broadcast NP 117A, coming to you live from the Free Thought Library in Austin, Texas, on the 20th of March, 2019. These orders arrived directly from the Atheist Community of Austin, the nonprofit educational organization for the promotion of positive atheism and the separation of church and state. If you have any questions regarding your orders, you can call the ACA voicemail at 512-220-6561 or visit their website at www.atheist-community.org. As mandated by the Atheist Community of Austin, all Texas atheists are required to listen to the live broadcast of the Non-Prophets every first and third Wednesday of each month from 7:30 to 9 Central Time. Furthermore, all Texas atheists are commanded by the Atheist Community of Austin to follow the directions at www.nonprofitsradio.com and join the chat room. So, listen carefully to your orders.
Nice.
Okay.
It's in my head. I'm just like, yes, atheists, partisans in the war.
That's right.
For reason.
I hate to be that. I think your autocorrect messed up my name.
Yeah.
What?
It changed him to Keith.
Yeah.
Instead of
Kevin, good grief, it did.
Yeah, no. It's been one of those weeks. It has been one of those weeks because, well, I should wait for someone to ask me before I dive into it. But it's been one of those weeks because...
How's your week been, Jamie?
It's been one of those weeks.
Okay.
Because I and everyone else, a bunch of other people that are organizing Atheist Day have been running around making sure, double-checking everything for Atheist Day, which is this Saturday, which is why I deliberately chose to wear green, because the symbol for International Atheist Day is a green circle, which is a recognized symbol of non-belief around the world.
Really?
At least to some degree, and it's going to be more popular because after the first Atheist Day, March 23rd, the year of decidedly nobody's Lord, 2019, this will be an annual tradition for all atheists to gather, come out, show solidarity, be godless generally.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Jewish tradition has Yom Kippur. Christians will try and keep Christmas for themselves, but we all celebrate it. Muslims have Ramadan, and now atheists have International Atheist Day, March 23rd.
Cool.
Yeah, and just as atheism goes, there's no specific doctrine or commandments as to what you should do for it at all.
There's no atheist rosaries or anything like that?
So if you can come up with a design for something that would be recognized as an atheist rosary that's creative, I would purchase one. So how has your week been, Kevin?
My week has been all right. I had the flu. Just kind of got over it about 4 or 5 days ago.
That's true. I haven't seen you a lot.
My voice may be a little bit scratchy, but I'm all right now. How about you, Dennis?
Well, I've been trying to set up an e-commerce site, and I described the effort to someone as a shitstorm of decisions, all of which require an answer. So it's like, good God, it never ends.
Yeah. How is your, have you done any artwork recently?
Yeah.
Any artwork? Well, I recently did a portrait of Aaron Alston. The late Aaron Alston was my roommate, was a New York Times bestselling author, wrote the Wraith Squadron and other Star Wars novels.
Okay.
And
really?
stuff like that back in the day, yes.
I'm going to actually write that down because I know someone that knows him, and my brother-in-law is going to be impressed. Wraith.
Well, very cool.
I should have just waited until after the show to do this.
And we should have provided a link to your your
you
page.
You don't get enough credit or
you
attention
out.
for your art.
Well, I have a website, DenisLoubet.com. So.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
there you go.
I think that the people at home will be able to find that one.
If they can spell it.
We'll provide a link next episode.
It's Dennis with one N.
Yeah, I was about to spell Loubet, and then I went, wait, I have dyslexia. This is a bad idea.
Loubet, Loubet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spelled Keith. No, wait. Sorry, I had to zing you at least once for that. Yeah. No. They've put it on the lower third for you.
Yay!
There, so
There we go.
Cool.
all right, and with that, Kevin, why don't you take us into our first story?
Gladly. I got this from BBC. This is a lawsuit as unvaccinated teen banned by U.S. school in outbreak. Kind of a clumsy title.
Yeah.
An unvaccinated Kentucky teenager is suing his Catholic school, which excluded him amid a chickenpox outbreak.
Oh boy.
And they are claiming that the vaccine is immoral, illegal, and sinful, and his rights have been violated.
I thought the Catholic Church was on board with vaccines.
Yeah, they are, and that's why, since this kid is
the kid is anti-vax, and he's refusing.
I don't know if I made that clear.
Yeah.
The kid is an anti-vaxxer, so is his dad.
So the school is being responsible and trying to protect its. Okay.
Yeah.
Here,
Good news, everyone.
Jerome, 18, has not contracted the virus, but has been banned by Our Lady of Sacred Heart Assumption Academy in Walton.
All right. Well then.
Yeah, the notification said that due to the outbreak of chickenpox, students who have not been vaccinated or are already immune to the infection must stay home, quote, until 21 days after the onset of rash or the last ill student or staff member. So
This kind of sounds like a
he's not
responsible health policy, but
yeah, the school is trying their best to be responsible. They have at least as of yesterday, 32 of their pupils have been stricken with chickenpox.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Get the disease vectors out.
Even if you have a pretty big school, I mean, 32 people.
That's that's
not
enough to start something real bad. In a school of 2,000,
That's
enough
significant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, 21 days until after the onset. That feels like a long time to me, but I'm not a health professional. I don't know. I don't know how long it can stay dormant.
Yeah, I don't know anything about chickenpox because I didn't have to get it because vaccines are great. So
Yeah.
I don't really. I also don't know how polio works, but
This is a type of anti-vaxxer that I was not aware of. The religious anti-vaxxer, because usually it's just the new age woo.
Yeah, or it's just like there's anti-vaxxers that just say it doesn't work. It's big pharma selling stuff.
Yeah,
that
But
are
now,
just taken in by.
Of course, religion and its unrelenting effort to poison everything.
Yes,
Now sticks its parts into this issue. Yes.
What's funny is you said that there's an opportunity for a rude joke about sticking parts in places.
Yes, there
It's
certainly
a
is.
story with a Catholic church, and
Yes.
there's no rape.
we'll have to
oh
get
my
to
God!
It's all been caught.
For a split second, you went, what? And I was like, and then at the end of it, there was a rape. Like, are you going to read through the entire story and then, oh, by the way, like,
We hope not.
sorry, yeah.
So also
Sorry.
There's been an outbreak of, no.
chickenpox and sexual assault.
Yes,
There's been an
great,
outbreak
wonderful.
of sexually transmitted diseases. I was like, oh God.
All right. Anyways, so Jerome Kunkel is the kid's name. His father, Bill, said the vaccines were derived from aborted fetuses, which goes against his family's religious beliefs. This is something
sound right.
I've never heard of.
Is that can't be a thing? It's not a thing.
Actually,
No.
It is kind of a thing. I'll get to in just a sec. I have a
But they
quote-
wouldn't need to keep making them.
I've got a quote from the dad, and I absolutely love this. Quote, "I don't believe in that vaccine at all, and they're trying to push it on us." What do you mean you don't believe in the vaccine?
Well.
It exists. It's
Demonstrably exists.
It's not made out of Jesus, though. So,
Right.
is it even real? How do you know? Were you there? How can you know anything? Whatever.
Okay, let's head this off right at the start,
Yeah.
and make sure that these vaccines are produced with holy water.
Wait,
That'll get them to take it, and then
I don't know.
everything's
Kind of what
cool.
the Catholic Church is wanting.
yeah.
So the source of this is really apparently some viruses used to make vaccines are grown with cells descended from matter that was sourced from 2 human fetuses electively aborted in the 1960s.
Wow.
But no new human cells have been used since then to produce vaccines, according to health authorities and drug manufacturers.
Oh my God.
The Catholic Church has told its members that it is morally justifiable to use these vaccines, although it wants alternative treatments developed without using, quote, using lines of illicit, quote, using cell lines of illicit origin.
I thought they
Okay.
were all about sacrifice.
Well, so to be clear, sure, they got the cells from the abortion, and the abortion was an abortion. But even if you were to say, oh, that abortion is a person, that person in quotes was dead. Are we not? Well, I guess there's the Catholic.
Yeah, and these are
resurrection
also
of the body, so.
things that are derived from those cells multiple times removed.
Yeah,
Right.
They are orders of magnitude away from what you are claiming.
The origin is, yeah.
What you're claiming that
But-
is.
Damn it! It is a valid issue if you're
Well,
completely crazy.
I was going to say it's an interesting question if you accept, or at least accept for the sake of discussion, the premise that if it were directly created from an abortion, that would be a problem.
Yeah, sure. Like you had to use fetal tissue to make every
single one.
individual one.
Okay.
I think you can make more of a case
That
there, but
I feel like there would be then pro-abortion people as opposed to pro-choice. They'd be like, more people need to get abortions so we can have vaccines would be something that someone would say.
No, I don't know what the
That statement by me is going to get clipped and shared real fast. And it's gonna be like, Jamie doesn't know how vaccines work and he wants everyone to kill their fetuses.
be amazing straw man, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. You can get sound bitten pretty bad if someone takes the time.
Yeah, and what's actually kind of interesting also is since this is a Catholic church,
Yeah.
they said
Or school.
the church, yeah, there's a Catholic school, but they said that the church is on board with this, so
right.
Yeah.
the church is
No religious exemption, presumably.
yeah, but the church is the ultimate authority because the church goes, speaks on behalf of the Pope, which speaks on behalf of God.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going against church doctrine, aren't you also then going against God?
Yeah.
If
Did
you're
it-
a Catholic and you actually believe this,
Yeah, but it won't matter to those people because
Yeah.
they're doing what they think is right.
Yeah, so to be clear, I don't know whether the article specified whether the boy and his father were Catholic.
well, I assume because they go to a Catholic school.
I mean, that's probably true. The school, one of the schools that I attended was a Catholic school, and I've never been Catholic, so
Okay,
It's possible.
I'm being presumptuous.
Well, no, I mean, like that's not an unreasonable assumption, I guess. Well, so what I would say is there's an interesting discussion to be had here, as opposed to a weird one about arbitrary religious stuff, because this problem of, okay, who owns like DNA, and because that in terms of medical research is being used, right? So there's a book called The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks or something along those lines. Yeah, where it's cells that are used for cancer research are taken from cancer cells from a woman who was named Henrietta Lacks, who lived in, like, I don't know, more than half a century ago. And it's really easy to replicate because the problem with the thing that makes cancer cells is they just replicate forever. So basically, almost all of the cells that have ever been used to research cancer are this woman's. And it's sort of, okay, do her descendants get paid for this? Or do the companies that are doing the research with it get to claim all of it? I don't know. I think there was or will be a lawsuit about it, and I don't know.
I was not aware of that. That's really fascinating.
It is. It raises an interesting and sort of moral question that you can't just slough off as, well, religion shouldn't get an exemption from the law, which is generally where I fall on a lot of these things.
They're pretty well used to it, but that is kind of slowly changing, which, thank fuck for that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, in the United States, we've been set back, Supreme Court and all.
True. In any case, one last thing. So,
where's the lawsuit taking place? If people wanted to,
it is Kentucky, and I forget the specific location. But anyways, again, they are trying to sue the school, and that court hearing is scheduled for the 1st of April. And just one last little thing at the end of this article here. Before vaccines were created, about 4 million Americans caught the chickenpox disease every single year. This is according to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
That and I don't know when the vaccine was developed. It was a while ago. The U.S. population has boomed in the last few decades. So that could be... So what was it, 4 million?
4 million a year.
That could be more than
now it's about 1,200.
1,200?
Right. Sorry, 12,000.
Well, I mean, but still, 12,000 a year?
Yeah, about 12,000 down from 4 million annually.
Yeah. How many people get rabies in the United States a year?
Thanks
it's probably
to these
like 1,000
vaccines that people don't believe.
Yeah, I know. The pharma companies are making so many negative dollars off their production. Jeez.
Yeah. And so really, I mean, I almost want to feel, I kind of flip-flopped a little bit on how much or how little I cared about this kid's story, because he's all upset. He doesn't get to finish out his basketball season. He is a senior. And
it's a shame.
Again, he never got sick. He isn't sick at the moment, but he's being excluded because he basically is a threat.
Yes, he's chosen to be he's a willing vector.
Yeah.
Did it say what his age was? Because, I mean, at the present moment...
He's a high school senior. 17, 18 probably. Actually, he did say that he was 18.
Okay, so he's legally an adult, but you're still living at home. That's like parent stuff, man. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like... when the parents want to pray instead of get medicine, it's sort of like, well, you have a 7-year-old child. They are not going to be held blame for anything.
Yeah, he seems to be fully on board with the anti-vax.
Yeah, so that is how that works.
I don't know if we can really pass the buck on to the father here. But yeah, I don't really think I feel bad for him at all.
Well, I mean... I feel bad that he's going to miss that his stuff from high school because his opinion of medical science is flawed.
I have to assume he was poisoned by his parents.
Well, I mean, with the ideas, certainly.
Yeah.
But in that decision, I side with the school that's protecting its
definitely.
Students. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise!
No question
Vaccines
there.
work, and I know that. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take us into our next story, which is that in Alabama, a judge has allowed a man to sue a abortion clinic, on behalf of the aborted fetus. So lawsuits and abortion. But no vaccines this time.
Okay.
So an Alabama judge has recognized the legal rights of this is from the Washington Post, by the way. An Alabama judge has recognized the legal rights of an aborted fetus, allowing a man whose girlfriend ended her pregnancy at 6 weeks to sue the manufacturer of the pill she used and the clinic that gave it to her. The decree issued by Madison County probate judge Frank Berger explicitly states, quote, Baby Roe, unquote, is a person and allows plaintiff Ryan Majors to name the fetus as a co-plaintiff in the suit for, quote, wrongful death, end quote. Majors said in court filings that when his then-girlfriend discovered she was pregnant in early 2017, he, quote, repeatedly pleaded, end quote, with her to carry the pregnancy to term and give birth, but she wanted to have an abortion. Abortion rights groups expressed alarm, saying the Alabama judge's decision last month sets a dangerous precedent, which it does. Luckily, it's not the Supreme Court, yet at least. Sets a dangerous precedent at a time when the idea of, quote, fetal rights, which is a phrase that I hadn't quite heard yet, but is still horrifying, which recognizes embryos and fetuses as separate from the woman who carry them, is gaining currency in state legislatures, courts, and law enforcement agencies. And then there's a citation to a somewhat related New Jersey case about the, well, here, in one New Jersey case, a mother lost custody of her child when she had a vaginal birth instead of the C-section her doctors insisted was necessary. In others, pregnant women who drank or took drugs, both illegal and prescribed, and then had miscarriages, were accused of child abuse. And dozens of states have passed fetal homicide laws that treat the unborn as a separate entity from the woman carrying them.
Fetal homicide laws.
Yep.
So that means if someone needs your blood type, you can be arrested by the police and put in a hospital and forced to give blood, forced to, surrender a kidney to someone who might need it. Is that their principle here? Is that their elimination of bodily autonomy?
I think they're trying for it. I mean, they're doing an end run by saying like, oh no, it's not her body. But I mean, I guess that doesn't answer the question of another person is using your body and you're not consenting to it.
I think what it really comes down to is,
so they're defining children as parasites.
The rights of the organism inside you do not supersede your own.
Yeah, even if
So it's kind of fucking crazy that they're trying to flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, you can recognize, if for the sake of discussion, Tracy Harris did this on Atheist Experience at one point. I think she said at conception, but you can say, oh, it's a human at name your favorite week or month or day or whatever. The issue is still that's your body and you don't consent. So, I mean, if they're going to recognize this as a separate person and the mother doesn't consent, do you then have to charge the fetus with rape? Because it's a person who is inserted into another person's body against their will. Like, at a certain point, you just have to point out how fucking ridiculous this is. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And if
Yes,
sounds more like
and if they
rape
arrest
isn't quite sound.
If they arrest the woman and put her in jail, they're unlawfully imprisoning the child within her, the fetus within her.
Yeah. I mean,
how does that work?
I don't know. I'm sure that the courts in the United States of Jesus will figure it out in time.
I mean, again, I think the rights of the mother supersede the rights of whatever stage the organism, fetus, zygote, gamete, take your pick, inside her is,
Yeah,
her rights come first. Her rights supersede.
Yeah.
Yes.
The rights of that organism.
I would go further.
I don't care what stage it's at.
Yeah, I would go further and say even if you balance the rights equally, people are still allowed to decide not to let their body be used by another person.
Yeah.
Of whatever age. Yeah. Like
that's right.
I mean, yeah, if you trespass...
Stop calling it abortion, just call it eviction. Republicans will love that.
Yeah. Oh my God. You'd get an eviction notice, and then you would bring it to the Planned Parenthood clinic, Here, I've got a legally signed thing. You know.
That's right. You're out in 5 days.
Yeah.
Back it up.
It's worth pointing out that
This is horrible.
pack it up. Oh my God. That came at me in waves.
Yes. These are amusing. Of course, it's a deadly serious issue.
It's a laugh or cry situation.
Yeah.
And I'm an ugly crier, so I'm going to laugh on the air. So
Where were we?
what?
I forget where we even were.
Oh, we're
I don't
talking
know.
about yours was in Kentucky, mine is in Alabama. All right, I don't know how I confuse those two states in terms of recognizing bodily autonomy.
No idea.
No idea. Maybe it's that they're both wrong. So one of the things that's worth pointing out is that this idea is, as this article says, gaining currency in legislatures, law enforcement agencies, and courts. And that's not an accident.
God.
The Republican Party of the United States has been deliberately trying to transform the judiciary for more than a decade now. And if you're questioning how I would come to that conclusion, you can read the transcripts of what the now majority leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, said on the floor, which was, I'm going to wreck shit until the majority gets out of power, and then we're going to transform the judiciary. And that's what he said his goal was, and he's accomplishing both.
Yeah, they've been gaining a lot of ground the past.
They've been gaining a lot of
years.
ground. So if you live in the United States, particularly if you are thinking of being active in politics, or you just want to know what's going on, I would say look into that, because in some places in the United States, as we said, you elect judges, and in some places they're appointed, and it's important to know what's going on where you are.
Yeah, and I know we said this last time,
Mm-hmm.
but pay attention to your state politics, especially because it's very easy for that to kind of go under the radar.
Yeah.
Theocracy is on the march.
Yeah, it's where people aren't looking.
Yeah, make sure you're registered to vote.
Yeah. You know how we have a federal Congress that isn't doing anything? You have state legislatures that are doing everything. Just pay attention to what's going on. And what I will say is people always argue like, oh, why should I vote? My vote doesn't count. There's millions of people that vote. There are fewer people in your state than there are in the nation. So if you really think that your vote counts more when there's fewer people, which mathematically, sure, then pay attention, because voter turnout, I mean, yeah, whatever. Just go vote and go be informed.
There was a story that I almost did about I can't remember his name. He's a far-right commentator. But he said, literally, I want as few people voting as possible. Like, well, yeah, Republicans do really well when there's low voter turnout.
Yeah.
You're not a big fan of
I
democracy.
don't
get
want
it.
democracy. Right.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, there's a lot of I mean, this is a separate topic than what I brought up, but yeah, there's a lot of issues with voter suppression and changing voter registration laws. I can't remember which Midwestern state it was that for a while had just required a mailing address and then switched to needing a home address, which many Native Americans don't have because that's not the way they live. And then they were disenfranchised immediately before the last election, before the midterm election, which is terrible. Yeah, just look, lots of stuff is going on. It may make you sad, but it's important to know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, in any case, there's that. So, man sues abortion. Kevin?
Actually, well, before we move on, I want to talk about what kind of precedent do you think this is going to be setting?
Well, it's a lower court, so...
well, as we said before, a lot of lower court
well, I mean...
stuff has been kind of moving up the ladder.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's
I mean...
that's been something of a game plan.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, it's put theocrats on the court. They've put 2 more on the court than they had. I mean, people will say, ooh, it's split 5-4, it's split 5-4. Really, it's split... I I think it's still 3114 or 414.
In regards
as far as like theocrats, and then conservative and liberal.
Okay.
Right? Like I oppose activist judges regardless of what their philosophy is. Precedent is important. But when they're theocrat activists, it definitely gets my goat. They have all my goats right now. Let us stop this.
It's worrisome.
Yeah, it's worrisome.
least.
I'm concerned about the future of my country and the world and law.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good ending for that. Yeah, things might be even worse tomorrow. I don't know.
All right.
So cool. So what do we have next, Kevin?
Do we want to move on?
Well, actually, I was gonna. Yeah, no, we're good. I said everything I needed to say.
All right.
Great TV.
This is from Hemet Meta at The Friendly Atheist. Catholic diocese sued by West Virginia Attorney General for knowingly employing pedophiles.
So what you're saying is West Virginia did something right?
Yes. West Virginia is currently trying to do the right thing, and is actually
Let the record show.
Republican Attorney General, so props to you.
Yeah. I'm glad that preventing rape can be a bipartisan issue. Sometimes.
Yeah. Anyways, West Virginia began investigating the church last fall, and in November, the diocese released a list of 18 priests who were credibly accused of abuse between 1950 and 2018. They also published a list of 13 priests who were employed by the diocese at some point, but credibly accused of abuse in another state. So they released the list, which is good, but they were also suppressing kind of the worst bit.
Oh, we have a list, and it turns out, as of last year, the problem's gone. We didn't do anything, but it's definitely, we're not talking about it existing.
Yeah. And again, as I said, Attorney General Patrick Morsi, a Republican, has now filed a lawsuit against the diocese of Wheeling, Charleston, and Bishop. Wheeling, Charleston. And Bishop Michael J. Bransfield, alleging the diocese knew a priest was a child abuser, but allowed him to work at a Catholic elementary school in violation of the church's of the state's Consumer Credit and Protection Act. Yeah. They're actually using
however you have to do it.
They're actually using quite a few different avenues in this suit, which is what some people are saying really precedent setting.
Yeah.
And they are really, really coming down hard on the church here.
Coming at you from every which way.
Oh, yeah. Basically, every direction that they've been able to find, they're taking it, which is fantastic. Anyways, the suit alleges that Father Patrick Corden admitted to sexually abusing a student, was sent to, quote, treatment, I'm doing the air quotes, and then got assigned to a local elementary school. Parents were not notified that the school was employing a pedophile, the lawsuit states.
There are other jobs to do. Like,
if you work in the church and you're a bishop or whatever the hell, you don't have any job skills. Come on.
Well, no, I mean,
what the hell else are you
there's
gonna do?
other things that the Vatican does. They tell married people how to be married and talk to old people too, don't they? Can we not? There are jobs that the church has that don't involve direct access to kids, at least not as much as I work in a children's.
Okay, but if you are a bishop or a clergy member of whatever sort, you don't have any real skills.
That's true.
You don't have any real training. You've got a degree in, a made-up book.
You've got a degree in Star Wars.
Yeah, you've got a fantasy degree, and you talk in front of people and you rape kids a lot of the time.
Usually not in front of
You don't have any real job skills. What the hell else are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Isn't there like a money counter? Well, you have to know accounting, I guess.
Yeah.
Never mind.
like,
Public speaking.
Yeah.
there's
I
only
mean-
so many public speaking jobs that are non-religious. So
Yeah. I was gonna say. Some of us are looking at jobs like that. Don't flood the market with a bunch of ex-priests.
we're going to be reading about the flood of unemployed former, church leaders.
Oh my God, I can't think of any immediate puns about the Noah flood story, but I'm sure they're coming. The moment that one reverend is named Noah, or that one priest is named Noah, and we get this flood, it's just every newspaper in the world is going to take a crack at who can do the best pun.
Hundreds of clergymen struggle to find new jobs in wake of
Noah leads flood
Scandal.
of ex-clergymen all across the world to whatever.
because they don't have any job skills.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, it's
the
kinda
lawsuit.
tragic, really.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, the lawsuit names multiple other priests who also got jobs working with children in the diocese, even though church officials knew exactly why they had been fired from their previous places of employment. In some cases, those predator priests went after children again.
Great. Repeat offenders.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, statistically, that is what you would expect to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, you go into this line of work specifically to abuse your unearned power and authority
Yeah.
over people.
Well, so I'm sure that there are people that enter the priesthood that are nice and not rapists.
I'm sure.
And just want to help other people.
Hashtag not all priests.
Yeah, hashtag not all priests are rapers. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they work for an organization that protects
yeah, a lot of
Well,
them.
yeah,
a lot of them
I
are
mean,
great people.
to be
that-
clear, if you are a rapist and have any religious inkling, I mean, now may be your last chance to get in before the government of the United States at various levels, state and federal, really cracks down. So
yeah,
that's sarcasm.
Yeah.
We're opposed to rape.
I'm like going to be able to. I want to make a joke and I'm not going to do it.
No.
Yeah, leave the
leave 'em.
half-hearted attempts at humor to
Yeah.
me so that I can feel shame.
What I'm curious about is the so-called treatment. Because in another article that was about this exact same thing, but I didn't want to do
Treatment.
I didn't want to do too many Catholic
Right.
priest raping kids.
We would
stories.
always like to reduce the amount of Catholic rape.
Yeah, they were
Rape
talking
of any
about
kind, really.
they went and saw psychiatrists,
Yeah.
and the psychiatrists cleared them, and then they just went back into what they had previously been doing.
Right.
I gotta wonder what the hell is that treatment?
Yeah, I'd like to know where.
Because I mean, they're what are their objective standards? What are their methods? Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because I mean, really, eventually, particularly if there's genetic tendencies to this, we're going to need to get to the point where someone can recognize, wow, I have these tendencies, and then go see a psychiatrist and get help and not rape children. We have to get to a point where that is a thing that can happen.
Well,
I mean, we have bigger.
not as easy to fix as bad code on a computer. you know?
Yeah, that's
It's a pain.
So, if only. I mean, that
There's
would
too many
that would
bugs
be-
in this.
I was going to say that would
bunch of fat in
that
our heads.
presents so many more ethical problems that we're not prepared to deal with. Like we
I
already-
know.
we have genetic editing. We have genetic editing that can affect living
Yeah.
people. We're all gonna.
Things in the pipeline.
We
Yeah.
absolutely can't be a theocracy and have that technology. We just
Oh
can't do this.
God, no.
Like United States of Jesus is a joke, not a suggestion. Don't do it.
Yeah, theocracy, it's like would be savages with high technology.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would make yeah.
Well, the other thing about that is religion generally is opposed to psychiatric medicine.
Yeah, in
Is it?
general. The Catholic
And just
Church...
they kind of dismiss mental health in general almost across the board. I'm not aware of...
But they're into what, therapy, or what is it when, you know, when the priest helps you with your problems, or
Confession? Or
no.
Oh, that's Jesus magic.
Oh, okay.
I think he means, what do they call it?
Right, no, it's not therapist. It's
Counselor.
Counselor.
Yeah.
They don't so much agree with psychiatry as counseling.
Yeah.
The counseling.
And counseling is basically, I get the impression in religious circles, is more Jesus. That'll solve
Yeah.
Yeah, the counseling kind of segues just naturally into the Jesus magic, and I think that's the kind of the core of, you know, what they believe is doing the real work.
Yeah.
You know, it's not talking through your problems and getting it out on the table and being able to talk to an objective
or a trained,
somewhat objective third party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's got nothing to do with it. It's probably just the Jesus magic.
Yeah, that'll solve it.
Yeah.
Every time. More Jesus.
But no, generally the religious institutions don't hold mental health or psychiatric medicine very high regard at all.
You and I watch enough of the Christian films that the God Awful Movies podcast reviews, which is good, and I can recommend to our audience. But yeah, that's a common sort of theme that comes up. It's not just, oh, Jesus, do more.
It is insanely common.
It's like,
how many movies have I seen where they tell you to throw away your
you don't need that
your
medication.
anxiety pills, your depression pills.
Right.
Yeah, no, and it's like, oh, the main character or any character goes to see a psychiatrist, and it's the most, like, I don't know, caricatured representation of a person that just wants to give you drugs.
Oh yeah,
like,
the psychiatrist.
What do you want? You want some of the
idiot.
blue ones, the purple ones, the green ones, all the drugs. You can have them.
Yeah,
and
the doctor's an idiot. The
the psychiatrist is insane. Always
if it's
horribly
teenager,
neurotic.
The doctor and your parents who are trying to get you to take your depression medication, they're all idiots. You know, you just need more Jesus.
Yeah, aren't the parents usually one of the parents is lost, and
the mom always died from cancer.
Yeah, it's always cancer mom, basically.
Trope after trope.
Yeah, it's cancer mom, drunk atheist dad, because those are the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, if you're able to get enjoyment from bad films, there's a whole genre. If you're also an atheist, that you can explore.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I know I mentioned it several episodes back. God, was it like December or November that we mentioned it? It was the Vulgarity for Charity.
Yeah.
That Cognitive Dissonance and the Puzzle in a Thunderstorm guys were doing.
Yeah, Scathing Atheist.
Well, Scathing is only one of their four podcasts.
That's the particular one that they're listing those. Or are they doing it on all of them?
All of them.
Oh, okay. So, Puzzle in a Thunderstorm. In any case.
I mentioned that I was going to put myself down to be roasted, and they finally got to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait. I'll ask you. Do you know which episode?
Yeah. It was on Cognitive Dissonance, which you guys should definitely check out.
It's a good podcast. Yeah.
If you don't already listen. And God, what was it? It was episode. The name of the episode was Jihad Magazine. And it was episode 459.
Jihad Magazine?
Yeah.
I like it when podcasts put numbers to their episodes.
Yeah.
It's
But they always have like some random joke that they decide to have as the name of the episode.
Yeah.
So it's a little Easter egg when you listen to the episode.
They don't regularly produce a jihad magazine.
Okay.
No.
Although if they produced just one issue, by those guys, if they collaborated with the Puzzle and Thunderstorm guys, or even if they did it on their own, I would probably.
Yeah. So I finally got made fun of. If you're not a big fan of me, you should check that out and listen to me get made fun of.
And if you are a fan of Kevin, you should also listen to it because it's awesome. Well, I'm assuming.
True.
Yeah.
True on both counts, yeah.
Yeah. Now I have something to listen to. All right.
Anyways,
And now,
where were we?
now for, was there more on
nope.
the Catholic?
No, I am very happy to hear that this Attorney General is really cracking down on these guys.
Let the record show that Kevin is really glad that West Virginia exists and thinks that it's doing what is right now. Kevin just loves West Virginia.
I feel like that's not an accurate representation necessarily.
I mean, whatever.
I mean-
I'm auditioning for Fox News level of spin. So
Okay.
so then it's good. So our next story I have for us is also Catholicism, but wait, it's good news and not about rape.
Really?
So
How can that be?
the headline: More Catholics considering abandoning the church. And I decided,
Wow.
I decided I needed to do this
That
because you always
is
ask.
Nice.
Yeah, you
Why
always
are
ask,
there
why are the
still Catholics? Yeah.
With the specifics, you may require more from them. However, 37% said they were questioning this year whether to remain part of the church, which is up from 22% in 2002.
Wow. Did they say why they were questioning?
2002.
Because they could be leaving the church for completely wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair,
The church is becoming more moderate and,
Yeah.
that's a decent jump, but that's a pretty big chunk of time.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I feel like that would be reasonable between, now and 2016.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, really.
Not now in 2002.
Well, hopefully it wasn't holding steady at 22 through that time. I mean,
Okay, that's fair.
yeah, more than a third of U.S. Catholics say the sexual abuse crisis rocking the Catholic Church has made them consider leaving the church, significantly more than when the last major scandal erupted, according to new research conducted by Gallup. The study found 37% of U.S. Catholics said the abuse crisis led them to question whether to remain part of the church. That number is up from 22 in 2002, when the Vatican last dealt with a major sexual abuse scandal. We're at a point where they have to specify, we mean the major sexual abuse scandals, not all of the ones in between.
Wait, but which major one, though?
Jeez.
I forget which one was 2002.
I just got to be an ass. And
Yeah,
it's... We know the general building pressure of...
They really do kind of just smear together,
Yeah.
It's hard to...
And we know we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like, what was I forget which state it was, that released all of the records that would have mattered if it was, before the year 2000 or whatever, because that's when it was people that are dead and people where the statute of limitations has run out.
I was actually going to mention that because, again, the story that I chose not to do because we didn't want just a ton of Catholic stuff. I was going to make that exact point. Like, almost every single time they elect to release a list,
Right.
it always goes
Sanitized.
way, back 50 years. It's all people who are no longer part of the church.
Yeah.
And it's all people that are past the statute of limitations, which I checked, and I think it is a little bit different state by state, but Texas is 10 years.
That's not
10-year statute of limitations, but for a minor, it is 10 years after they hit 18.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like trying to do. I'm looking through.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the days. I'm like, what's the over under on how many of these priests are actually alive and still within that statute of limitations?
Right.
They're not specifying any names here. I'm betting it's basically none of them.
It's weird.
Gee, I wonder why they elected to just give us this list.
This is like a dark side of time-based
Things
like that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward each year to see what comes into the public domain from the 1920s, right? You know,
I mean,
and
are
it's
you?
like
There's a lot of creative work that's coming to the public domain
then
that you don't want to read.
the dark side is, oh yeah, the statute of limitations has run out on these guys, so we can release their names now.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
If you release a list of, we knew these guys were child rapists, but you can't sue any of them. Here's a list composed of those names. You fail.
And we knew it.
It feels really more
conscience.
like a PR stunt,
Yeah.
especially with the 24-hour news cycle. Something like that, it just gets buried.
Yeah,
You know?
it gets buried in. I've listened to the local radio, and there's a channel that plays in Austin that's Catholic specifically. And one of the offhand comments was, the sexual abuse scandal, oh, that was bad. And, the systems that the church has put in place are good and they're working. And I'm willing to say that person is just sort of not doing the research, maybe pulling out of theirs, but is just sort of operating on the assumption of, any organization that found this problem would do everything that they could and put things in place.
You would think.
Any non-religious organization would.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, because they'd be sued out of existence.
Yeah, they would be held accountable.
Yeah, they wouldn't be allowed to voluntarily just release some of the names. Prosecutors would be all over that without hesitation.
And there'd be a horrific uproar.
Yeah, and okay, people don't like the word privilege when we talk about these things, but the position in society at a religious...
I'm triggered. You're going to say it. I know you're going to say it.
I'm an SJW now, but... or whatever. What I will say is religious institutions in this country are treated differently by government entities because they are religious, sometimes in law and sometimes casually, and I don't think that should be the case.
Because it's
Bold
bad.
statement.
Because it's bad PR to
do anything with the church.
to hold any religious institution accountable for no matter how horrific their crimes are.
Yeah, it was a while back.
There's like a
now.
cost-benefit analysis of like, okay,
do
we hold them accountable or
not?
Do we?
Yeah,
Do we suffer the shitstorm?
This entire religion.
Yeah.
Well,
us,
attorneys general are often elected, so am I going to do something that's going to make me lose my job and livelihood, or would a prosecutor?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a few years back, I think. Well, it's quite a few years back now. There was a scandal in quotes in Houston because there was a preacher that. People in his church came forward and said, oh, he's electioneering, which you're not allowed to do if you're a 501c3, or for religious reasons like churches or educational reasons like the Atheist Community of Austin, you can't electioneer. And they said, oh, his sermons are electioneering. This is terrible. And so the state said, oh, okay, well, just send us a copy of his sermons then, and we'll figure out if he's electioneering.
That's right.
And all hell broke loose, or rather, all heaven broke loose, because people came out of the woodwork, national organ, whatever, just to know you can't...
Big government cracking down on religion.
Ask for the text of the sermons that presumably a priest would want, any pastor would want published everywhere, given that it's supposed to be... Yeah, but I mean, how dare the law look at anything that any religious institution or religious worker does?
Jamie.
Yep.
You're aggressive.
Oh, my God.
Actually, I wanted to make this point really quick before we.
You're really good at hitting the off switch on my ability to respond.
Before we move past this, I think I've made this point in the past, but the Catholic Church routinely has lobbyists, and they will block and have blocked many times legislation that would extend the statute of limitations.
Yeah. They are opposed to this.
It is not just representatives of the Catholic Church, but also their insurance companies. which are liable to, if statute of limitations is increased or done away with altogether, which obviously it should be. You know, there's not a time limit for justice if you're a child who's been, or anyone who has been assaulted. But yeah, it is church leaders and insurance companies representing churches that are blocking legislation. They're
very much opposed.
That, you know, is meant to...
Yeah, and the
sure, it's insanely self-serving. And why would they do that?
It's so disgusting.
And it's transparent. I mean, you know why they're doing it. They got to cover up their crimes.
Yep.
They're a criminal organization, and by doing this, they're admitting it.
Yeah, it comes down to the money, and it comes down to just saving their own asses.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I will say is the next part of it, because there was, I think before we address the topic, generally, you had some question about, did it say why? And it's the sexual abuse, and it's up because... Yeah. So there's some statistics about...
they're disturbed for at least a good reason there.
Yeah. So there's some specifics about... They also evidently ask Catholics how often they attend church, and unsurprisingly, people that attend church less often were more likely to say they were considering leaving.
Right.
Which is sort of, okay, that's what I would expect. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But also, many Catholics, and I'm quoting here, said they had previously believed the church had put the problem of sexual abuse by priests behind it. Which is sort of, which is what I was saying with the radio host was sort of, you would, come on. It's like, why would I need to check whether they fixed a problem? Of course,
there is no excuse for that kind of naivete at this point.
Well, at this point, no.
Yeah, they solved the problem. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no. The movie Spotlight is great, by the way. But a series of scandals, including a Pennsylvania grand jury report that detailed more than half a century of abuse by priests in that state, rekindled anger about the church's failure to protect children from abusive clergymen. And then it sort of lists previous scandals. It's.
I gotta, there's people who say, people act bad. Well, they just need more Jesus in their life.
Yeah, they're broken and they need to be saved.
What more Jesus
is there than a priest?
Yeah.
Is there than, as I believe is alleged, the previous pope, which would, if demonstrated to be true in a lawsuit, I don't want to get sued for defamation, would explain why he, as well as the whatever handful of why he resigned rather than going through the entirety of his life term.
Well, I guess, God was a
friend.
horrible, horrible character in the Bible. It would make sense that these godly men would be pieces of garbage.
Just like him, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. The Catholic Church has an interesting relationship with not just using the Bible and using lots of other stuff. The Catechism of the Catholic Church is longer and more detailed than the Bible and doesn't include random genealogies and crap. So I don't know.
So less filler?
Yeah, less filler. Less, oh my God, why is this in here? Who reads this part? Filler. Less like, oh, is this how Christian fundamentalists punish their children? Go read all of the genealogies again and then come back and tell me what you did wrong.
Yeah, well, I like the Onion headline where it's like, Satan refuses to accept any more Catholic priests in hell. So. Even he has standards.
I haven't read that.
I've not seen that either.
I thought you were going to say it was because of overcrowding.
No. Well, yeah, probably that too.
So there's a couple other points I want to hit, which is that there's a separate Gallup study that was conducted last year that found that 31% of U.S. Catholics rated the ethics and honesty of clergy highly, which is kind of a depressingly high number. However, it's down from 49% in 2017.
Again, I'm going to reiterate, these people, their authority and their power is completely unearned.
Right.
Yep.
What the hell?
I mean, I would like to just make the asterisk, in other situations, having that bold of a fashion sense is something that I could respect. However, yeah, no.
No, that's just been grandfathered in. They don't get any credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and it's also down from 63% in 2008. So, yeah, it's almost like people are realizing the sexual abuse didn't go away.
Yeah, I've noticed you really like stories with statistics in them, Jamie.
Well, yeah, I'm a nerd.
They're harder to argue with.
Yes, look, I have numbers.
That's true, yeah.
And the studies were reliably conducted by whatever. Again, back to your point, why are there still Catholics?
Yeah.
The percentage of the U.S. population that identifies as Catholic has been trending slightly downward from 25% at the turn of the century to 22% last year.
Slow.
Which, is 3 points. However, the population of the United States continues to grow.
Right.
And, I don't have the precise statistics on the average number of children that Catholic families have. However, I'm willing, if I were a betting man, I would bet that it is higher than the national average. So that represents a significant decrease.
I would be willing to bet also that if we could, actually chart that, we could see that the growth rate is probably increasing.
Right. And where did they get the number?
Of people that identify as Catholic?
To identify as Catholic. Not that the Catholic Church
Claims.
counts as...
Yeah. I mean, I'm still, well, I was about to say,
Yeah,
I'm still probably on a list.
I wouldn't,
yeah.
I wouldn't believe the Catholic Church's numbers.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, there are, we know ex-Mormons that are activists that are actively doing things where they're still technically registered as a member of the Mormon Church. That's not really churches aren't about, well, some aren't about knocking other members off.
Did our friend Gregory Ethan Dodge mention if he was still put down as a member or not?
I'm not sure. I think he's off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to.
I don't know if he mentioned that.
I think it's Ethan Gregory.
Is it Ethan Gregory?
It's EGD.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ethan.
Notorious.
We'll have to have him back.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I guess we need another adjective because it's notorious RBG. So we can't. There can only be one.
That's right.
Fight to the death. Sorry, Ethan, you have to die. I kid. All right. So, I mean, I've hit this story a lot, and as you said, it's statistic.
What else we got?
Yeah.
Let's segue over to another good news story.
Yeah.
All right.
We got another one.
Yeah, real quick. All Lifeway Christian stores will be closing by year's end.
What the fuck is a Lifeway Christian store?
Yeah.
It is the Christian bookstore.
Really?
Kind of like how Barnes & Noble went under, what was it, like 2 years ago or something?
I didn't realize those were chains. I thought that, like, locals were doing that.
No, Lifeway is a huge,
I assume that something that was a religious institution would be disorganized and small.
Right. Yeah, and I got this from, of course, Christian Broadcast Network.
Yeah. There always has to be at least one.
There's going to be one.
Well, I guess the last one that could read must have died, and now they're...
Well, I mean,
read.
Brick and mortar bookstores are not doing well. Yeah,
right. That's true all across the board. Yeah.
But this one is particularly good news because it's a Christian bookstore, and that real estate can finally go to something useful.
Yeah.
So they're going to be closing down the chain's 170 retail stores by the end of the year.
Huh. All right.
And that makes me happy. I wonder what they're going to replace them with.
Do you know whether they were tax exempt?
No, I don't think so. It's a for-profit.
Yeah, because I've heard that before. Yeah. Oh, this coffee shop we own that's in a separate building and is literally just a coffee shop is owned by us, so it's tax exempt.
Yeah, they've been able to hang on a little bit longer than, like, say, Barnes & Noble because they are the publishing arm of the Southern Baptist Convention.
Really?
And
okay.
they do
Wow.
they do business with a lot of churches and mega churches, and just Christian organizations in general. So they've been able to supplement and stave off going under.
They got subsidies because they're
basically
because they're socialist communists, just like the New Testament says the apostles were after Jesus died.
Well,
they're
You
not
should read your
completely,
Bible.
so they're not completely going out of business necessarily.
Right.
They said they're going to go to online. Online only.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, wait, how many Kindle editions of the Bible have people purchased?
Yeah.
And they don't need.
But these are a total waste of retail space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who will print and shelve all of the new fancy versions of the Bible?
On a related note, my feeds have been filled with articles reminding people that Chick-fil-A is still
anti-gay.
contributing money to anti-LGBTQ.
Don't forget.
There was another
organizations.
CBN article that was bragging about how well Chick-fil-A is doing.
Yeah.
Like one particular location that was outside of it was a college, was just getting swarmed probably because it's the closest friggin' place to the college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm
I'm
really impressed.
Yeah, I was going to say, ooh, look, we're able to get college students to buy fast food in the most convenient place. It must be because we are exceptional as a fast food place.
Yes, and our message is the best.
Right.
They don't post on their windows, gay is not okay, so it doesn't keep the college kids away.
Yep.
I'm just going to rhyme the rest of the time. So
Braggy.
brace yourselves. I'm out of rhymes. Okay.
Yep. So that was it. I was just really happy to hear
just that.
Yeah.
that
I mean, is there...
we always need a little bit of good news.
We wish them ill.
I when I'm not on this show, I feel like I'm radical and on like the edge of the atheist movement or whatever. And then I come on this show and I go, oh no, wow, I'm a moderate. It's okay.
You're Jamie, you're normal.
Yeah. I'm normal. I just don't think it's a good idea.
Like
generally, yeah.
I don't want my bosses to see this because I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are religiously or spiritually or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
If they happen to
Tune in.
if they can't really disassociate the thing that I say
From the way
about
that you
religion, and maybe they're not religious, but they're their family member, someone they're close to. When they think of Catholics, they think of Aunt Kathy, sweet Aunt Kathy, and I'm talking a load of crap about the Catholic Church, and they can't really disassociate those two things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I don't think that we are in any way out there.
No, we're not.
But it's a damn shame that we are as offensive as we are.
Well, that our existence offends
Our
people.
existence and just the objective true things that we
Yeah. Here
Well,
are the
I had to-
statistics that are factual.
Yeah. I pointed out at one point that like atheists are like our very existence is an insult.
Yeah.
Because if we say if they say there's a God and we say we don't believe you, that they interpret that as they're calling us liars. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
oftentimes
why are you attacking
you
me?
do get that reflexive kind of knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in it, and so they interpret that as we think they're all gullible.
Well,
That may be the case,
well,
but they take it as an insult.
Well, not
Obviously,
gullible.
nobody
Yeah.
wants to feel like they're called gullible.
Yeah.
Don't be gullible then.
2002 is when the Boston Globe did the expose. That's the incident that the movie Spotlight covers. That's what.
I was wondering
Yeah, I was trying to
why.
remember the specific one. Yeah. So.
So it was Borders that closed.
Oh, and not
Or- yeah.
not Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, when you said
Yes,
that,
Borders closed.
When you
yes,
said that, I was
Barnes
sort of
Noble
like,
is still up and running. I know
thought there were
several.
still ones, but I mean,
They both
they're-
start with a B.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say for a while there was still a Blockbuster in America.
Right.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
even last year because it was a chain and not owned by
Family owned and operated, I guess.
it was a franchise, so the franchise owner was still able to run it or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, they had an opportunity to buy Netflix when it was still small. But
Damn, they dropped the ball on that.
yeah, they dropped the ball on that one.
I remember getting the mail-in Blockbuster movies.
Mm-hmm.
Before net, because that's what Netflix was doing for a while.
Well,
was the mail-in.
Yeah, Netflix
they
started
tried
with the mail.
Yeah. That didn't last long.
No, it was clumsy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were more consistent with their. This is the.
I feel like we're getting off track.
Yeah, I think we are.
So the last thing that I will say is that basically there's a professor at Chad Pecknold, a professor at the Catholic University of America, who sort of summarized this change and why this response to these more recent revelations is more dramatic than the first one.
Okay.
Which is, quote, the average lay Catholic was able to accept that there were many bad apples and the church was going to need to clean them up, right?
Right.
So it was, we'll give you an opportunity, we'll give you a second chance, a rebirth, sacrifice, Jesus, that sort of mentality. The revelations last year that hadn't happened deepened the original sense of betrayal among the faithful. Because the bishop's involvement, not just like priests, whatever, the bishop's involvement in covering up the abuse became clear. However, he ends his statement with, it's understandable that for people whose faith is weak, this is just enough to push them out. So it's almost like
weak.
You almost got it. You were analyzing how people were upset.
So close.
And
Really? He's just going to criticize that they...
Your faith is weak. Sort of like, that's not the way I would phrase it, but I would say, good for you. Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings.
A little bit.
No, I'm sorry you got your
feelings hurt.
I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt by what I said.
Yeah. There was this picture that made the rounds that people showed each other as like kind of meme when I was in high school, which is because the Pope does like this hand gesture, and it had the Pope doing that. The old Pope, who was like sort of old and hunched and looked like Palpatine, and it said, "I find your lack of faith disturbing."
Yes.
I remember that.
But people with weak faith and strong ethics will hopefully leave.
I think that's a better analysis than the latter.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Okay. Do we have any mail? Or?
Yeah, I think Dennis said he hadn't set that up for.
I guess I forgot.
Yeah.
We have one or two pieces of mail.
Okay.
Hit us with that mail, Dennis.
I'm not sure if it's something we can address here, but
then don't hit us with that mail, Dennis.
let's see. The discussion about the law wording was confusing to me. Was it meant to stop conversion therapy, or was it trying to prevent needed therapy for those going through changes and acceptance?
Oh, yeah. I emailed them back about this.
Okay.
So, I guess, since you already
From a
read
previous
Yeah,
episode.
this is from Dorothy.
All right.
it.
Hi, Dorothy.
Anyways, it was in reference to the story that I did last episode. And honestly, I think part of the problem was I didn't read through all of the legal jargon, and I just kind of took snippets that I thought were important because I thought it'd really be extraordinarily boring for me to read
A bunch of legalese.
a bunch of legal, just blah, 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 blah.
Be boring for everyone else.
Yeah, no matter
me.
how you inflect, it's still going to be a bunch of legal jargon. So that made it very confusing, and I didn't. That was my bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Aha.
Looking back at it now, it appears to be both. It appears to be that it is that proposed law was meant to protect people, but the wording was a little iffy, and I feel like it's going to be used to kind of keep people from getting the treatment that they need.
Right.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
So I thought the law was mostly focused on making people have licenses before they treated anyone.
I think that was part of it. It was about conversion therapy, and they were trying to make sure that conversion therapy basically was not legal because they were giving it the legal definition that it was colloquially known to be, which is something that involves assault, basically.
Yeah.
So they defined conversion therapy as what it is,
Which is decidedly not therapy.
Yeah. They said, hey, if it's going to be called conversion therapy,
it has to be therapy.
It by definition has assault in it because that's what it is.
Right.
Legally, you just have to make those updates to your, legal documents and vocabulary. That's just a necessary thing. That's what Christian Broadcast Network and whoever else was upset about. They're like, hey, this thing that we keep saying that we're advocates of is now legally, by definition, abuse. Because that's what it was colloquially known to be.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
this is kind of a long-winded, but they
to answer your question, Dorothy, it was focused on ending conversion therapy.
Yeah, it was focused on ending conversion therapy and defining it as abuse legally, but I felt that the wording opened the door to preventing
needed care,
needed real therapy.
Okay.
The wording was loose enough and like, okay, I think maybe they're going to be able to use this as like, you can't get this other therapy because of
the same thing. I don't know. What I would say is to come to that conclusion, I'd like to talk to
and I am very much a lay person, and I did respond to the email specifically, but yeah, it had been bothering me. Right? Do you remember right after the show, I turned to you, I was like, man, I should have read that whole thing.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Was that was a CBN from last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that may have been the source of the confusion, because it would have been talking about how terrible it was if it was CBN, which we don't generally associate with people getting the.
I was focused when I was reading through the legal document. I was too focused on like what CBN was upset about, and I didn't catch that. Oh, this could actually open the door to more problems. Getting real therapy and real help. I didn't even notice because I was too focused.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, that was a thing that was brought up.
Yeah, because you actually picked up on that initially.
It was either me or it might have been Megan or someone else.
Awesome.
In any case, let us go to Kevin. I believe that you have something for us. No?
I do. Well, I don't have. Okay. I wouldn't call it shit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
I don't know. Okay.
Technically shit, internet apologists say, though Kevin disagrees.
Okay.
And now I've prevented him from reading it because
That's right.
Oh, thank you. All right. So
You're welcome.
So the religious right is super excited about Jair Bolsonaro, the newly elected president of Brazil, who is proudly embracing the name Trump of the Tropics.
Those first three words always make me nervous.
Yeah.
Religious right excited.
So He just got elected. I think we spoke about him
Yeah.
a little bit when we had Matt on, actually. Because we were talking about the indigenous peoples thing. In any case, so he was just elected, and a lot of religious right groups and political allies are really, really excited. People like Steve Bannon, the Christian Broadcast Network. Today, actually, CBN got an exclusive interview with him after his meeting with Trump, and he was on. he was featured on the 700 Club.
Of course.
How exciting!
Yeah.
Just a little bit of history. He has a really bad history of treating women horribly. He kind of in the same line as Trump. Denounces media as fake news. He
is the Trump of the tropics.
Yeah. He comes down hard on so-called political correctness. He is very much a fan of authoritarianism.
Yeah. How overtly religious is he? Do you know?
We'll get to it.
I think that gets buried in the mainstream news because I don't like to talk about that.
Yeah. He is defended and celebrated Chile's murderous dictator Augusto Pinochet.
Oh, he's Pinochet.
Yeah, as well as the torturers of the military dictatorship that ran Brazil from 1964 to 1985. And he pledged a, quote, cleansing of his political opponents from the nation. Since being inaugurated in January, he's issued multiple executive orders cracking down on the LGBTQ community.
Oh, I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah, indigenous peoples,
great.
Descendants of former slaves, civil servants deemed not on board with Bolsonaro's ideological agenda, nonprofit organizations, and the media. On top of that, on top
Be
of that,
allowed to do whatever I want.
He's as much a dictator as you can be in a society with a government that's a republic.
Yeah. On top of that, like Trump, Bolsonaro has promised to follow in Trump's footsteps and possibly move the country's embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. And he's thinking about pulling out of the Paris Climate Agreement.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
That would make make Brazil, what, number 3 worldwide?
Yeah, it's us, it might be Brazil, and then it's literally Satan or something. I don't know who the third country is.
It's some other, God damn it, I can't remember the other country.
Is it North Korea?
No, I don't think it is.
Is it Myanmar?
Okay, it's one of a handful of countries that are stupid enough to not be
Libya?
part of the climate agreement. Anyways, so just a little background on him. Trump boosting profits, air quotes, Cindy Jacobs has portrayed Bolsonaro's election as another sign that, quote, God is releasing the game changers to shift governments. And anti-LGBTQ activist Brian Brown
has a different take.
Celebrated Bolsonaro's stripping of the nation's human rights ministry of authority to consider LGBT-specific issues as, quote, human rights.
Wait, what is the name of the authority? The
Human Rights Ministry of Authority. Human Rights Ministry.
What?
So he stripped...
Who said this?
Oh, it's...
this is some... Brian...
Brian, I hate gays.
Brian
whatever.
Brown, dickhead, said...
Okay.
Gay, not okay. Brian, gay, totes not okay.
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah.
So he stripped the nation's human rights ministry of authority to consider LGBT-specific issues as human rights. They're no longer human rights, apparently.
Yeah.
According to his government, they are. But,
hang on. U.S.
I never wanted to hate people this much.
U.S. religious right leaders were praying for Bolsonaro. People like Michelle Bachmann even recorded a video message urging Brazilian citizens to vote only for the candidate for a candidate for the president of Brazil who will support moving the Brazilian embassy to Jerusalem.
Yep.
That is specifically for the apocalypse.
Stand all this bullshit.
Yeah. No, it is. It's very messianic. There are lots of people that don't really have strong feelings about Jewish people or the Jewish tradition or the politics on the ground, but that recognize that for messianic Armageddon to occur, you have to get it's all or most or whatever of Jews into Israel, because that's what it said. Because it's something like, when the Jews return to Israel, then the world will end, blah, blah, blah. So they're doing it literally. They're also genetically modifying a cow to be red. So
just to surmise, a bunch of right-wing religious figures and organizations within America, as well as the Koch brothers, are basically...
The Koch brothers?
Yeah.
I thought they were just anti-government and not explicitly religious.
So, yeah, right-wing religious groups and the Koch brothers' political networks are active in Brazil, promoting culture war leaders and materials, as well as a constellation of right-wing think tanks.
You know what is amazing?
Damn it.
Is that in our country there was a Washington's so corrupt, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. No, it's okay to be rich. But these people that we can vote in and vote out, and that are under specific, are looked at to as far as whether they're corrupt, if they have an affair, it's automatically news, are elected representatives. They're super corrupt for taking actions about the law that everyone can read about and knows. However, people that have a gazillion dollars that are literally trying to change the various cultures of the world, no, they're fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
Can you vote them out of being a billionaire? No.
No.
Yeah, it reminds me of...
One person with massive power.
Yeah, you shouldn't vote them out of being a billionaire. It should just be that $1 billion doesn't mean you get to run the fucking world.
Yeah. This reminds me of, how tobacco companies are nowhere nearly as influential in America as they used to be.
Yeah.
Well, now in order to offset their declining sales, they've basically they've moved overseas, and cigarettes are insanely popular in third world countries, especially.
Right.
Yeah. And we wonder why the rest of the world hates the United States. We offload our worst products and our worst ideas on the less fortunate countries of this world.
Yeah, apparently we've got people looking to Trump as a role model now.
Yeah.
It's like dictators. Great.
To be clear, I think that,
I feel like I should have left the Lifeway bookstore
for
later.
Here's what I will say.
This is
I've got
depressing.
something for everyone, and it's a positive story. It's a positive story about laws being proposed in Georgia. What? How is that even possible?
Georgia?
Some might say it's a secular miracle. Yes, Georgia. Georgia. The one with the peaches and lots of Jesus laws.
Okay.
But guess what?
I'm skeptical.
Yes, as you all should be. Allow me to read the thing to you. Evidence. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And the headline from Rolling Stone goes, Georgia lawmaker proposes requiring permission for Viagra, criminalizing vasectomies. Representative, and I'm really sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. It's difficult for me. Representative Darshun Kendrick's bill, a rebuke to HB 481, which is bad, but her bill would also potentially make sex without a condom, quote, aggravated assault.
I love this is one of those satire-esque law proposals.
Kind of. So she was asked whether she was serious, and she responds to that in a second. So she has proposed the Testicular Bill of Rights legislation and marked the importance as high.
I heard a little something about this.
Yeah. She quote, "I'm dead serious," is what she told her. It was also summarized by our good friend Hemet Mehta. But hang on, let me see if I can get his summary of it real fast.
So why are you doing that? I think I've heard things like this before, where kind of like a modest proposal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like just pointing out the absolute
Yeah.
batshit crazy ideas
Let's
on,
do
on
to
the
you-
other side. Yeah,
Let's do to you what you're trying to do to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do to men what you're trying to do to women
Yep.
to the same degree.
So,
And let's see how reasonable you think that is.
Yeah, I found it here. She tweeted a copy of it out at Darshan Kendrick. You can read along if you want. The Testicular Bill of Rights, importance high. Good morning. Please have the following legislation drafted. This is her talking to her staff that write in legalese. 1, require men to obtain permission from their sex partner before they are able to obtain a prescription for Viagra or any erectile dysfunction medication.
You mean like how in some states they try and force women to get permission from the man in order to get an abortion?
Yeah. Where is your father or husband, young lady of the age of 30 or wherever?
Yeah.
Things said in 2019 that you think would only be said in 1950. Whatever. But the next one, ban vasectomy procedures in Georgia, both in part or in whole, with the name punitive measures for performing the procedure, specifically that are listed in the previous bill that this is in response to. This one was pretty good. Require a 24-hour waiting period for men to purchase any porn or sex toys in the state of Georgia, just for them to reconsider their personal life choices.
You mean like how they try and make women wait 24 hours if they aren't going to have an abortion? Like, no,
it's
really,
72.
Really,
3 days.
Let's do it.
It also,
and if you had to take off of work and maybe travel across state lines to get this abortion because your
Totally
state sucks ass.
you got to do it twice, 3 days apart.
Yeah, good luck if you're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, well, that tends, But there is also required DNA testing when a woman is 6 weeks and 1 day pregnant to be performed before she is 8 weeks to determine the father of the child, who shall immediately start paying child support, because then it's definitely a person and the parents of that person are specifically responsible for it.
And that's weirdly slut-shaming, too.
What?
It feels slut-shaming because, like, oh, we don't believe you when you say that this person is the father.
Oh, well, I don't think it...
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
But that was the first thing that I felt initially.
I didn't necessarily think of that because I think generally
I thought it was going in a different direction.
You a hoe? Me too. Let's go. Right, as sort of my unofficial mantra for. Usually when I'm not on the show, I'll say things like that, and when I'm on the show, I won't. But the tradition broken today. So yeah, I thought I would leave you with that. It's kind of amusing.
And
a chuckle.
Sorry, I kept interjecting, but I just really wanted to show
Makes it
the
difficult to
parody,
get. They make it difficult to get birth control, to even visit a Planned Parenthood.
If that sounds crazy to you,
now
you're a guy,
right?
Well.
I guarantee you're a man if that sounds crazy to you.
Yeah, because it's sort of like, wait, what? What do women have to do to obtain birth control, even if they're married and have whatever? It's like,
the vasectomy thing would upset me because I'm actually kind of thinking about getting one. So
tweet at him if you have an opinion about that. Dennis, I don't know whether you have a Twitter or do the Twitter, but I know that
I do.
Kevin, you do.
I have one, but I don't use it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm at Jamie the Heathen. I'm on Twitter more than I should be, so tweet at me.
I'll get around to using it.
Yeah. Cool. I also hang out on the Talk Heathen Reddit. Yeah. But in any case, Dennis.
Yes?
Unless there's something else.
Do you want to close us out?
You want to take us out?
Oh,
you took my take us out, Dennis.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, well, that finishes the broadcast. The Non-Prophets will broadcast again in 2 weeks on the 3rd of April. You have your orders.
Around the world, secular groups are gathering this March to celebrate the first International Atheist Day. While we encourage atheist groups to come together and celebrate, we invite you to join us. Because lacking religion does not constitute hate. Because in many parts of the world, disbelief can have tragic consequences. Because it's time to create an international community. Because where we can be counted, we should. Stand up this March 23rd and join us as we demand to be counted.